It's interesting that I can read the book of Job and almost verbatim was told some of the things that
Oh,
Job's
wow.
friends said.
Yeah.
But I also find it interesting that for the first 7 days when Job's friends showed up, essentially they got it right. They sat with him in silence and they just showed compassion and empathy with him. But it was when they opened their mouths that they got into trouble. And it reminds me of Proverbs 25:20, which says, like taking a garment away from a man on a cold day or pouring vinegar in an open wound is singing songs to a heavy heart. And I think so often we believe when we see someone who's hurting or wounded, we should try to fix them or try to cheer them up or try to help them pull themselves up by the bootstraps. But in essence, we're supposed to mourn with those who mourn.
Wow. Well, let's talk about your journey out. Of course, this is a period of time where you were facing all sorts of things. You had contemplated suicide. It was like one season of adversity was stacked on top of the other. And so it really, it became something that you walked through for a number of years. How did you begin to take step by step your journey out of that situation?
Well, in the very beginning, there were times when I was just literally curled up in the fetal position, and I didn't have the wherewithal to read or comprehend anything. So I would clutch the Bible to me, and I would just pray and ask God to give me the strength. Over time and days, I got to the point where I could read a sentence. And sometimes, when you're in that place, people will say, well, take it one day at a time. Well, sometimes a whole day is overwhelming. You just need something to get you through the next moment. But those sentences, those single promises of God would give me that glimmer of hope that I needed. And then over time, God began to give me more and more strength. So, reached the point where it may sound silly, but was able to take a shower. And I started keeping a gratitude list. 3 things every day that I could be grateful or thankful for. And then one day, God brought a friend into my life who invited me to go to a conference, just a one-day thing. At the last minute, she was not able to attend. How I went by myself was truly supernatural. But in that day, God reached down into my situation. The woman who was speaking was Dr. Edith Eger, and she is a Holocaust survivor. She had been imprisoned with her sister in Auschwitz. Her parents were killed there. Amazing woman. But at the lunch meet and greet, when I got up to this woman and I had watched her shake hands with so many people, smile, as they briefly went by, for some reason, God looked into my situation with his mercy and grace and had her stop me and tell me, we need to meet. We need to have breakfast in the morning.
Wow.
And so I ended up going and having breakfast with her the next day. Actually, it ended up lasting all day, took her to the airport in the afternoon. But as I watched this woman and I listened to the horrific stories of what she had experienced in the Holocaust, what I couldn't help noticing too was the joy in her and the confidence and the strength. And it was all grounded in God. And at one point she looked at me and she grabbed my hand and very gently, she said, what is this pain that is etched in your eyes? So I told her my story, and of course I was weeping. And she said, you are familiar with the 23rd Psalm, are you not? And I said, yes. And she said, do you not feel as if you were walking through the valley of the shadow of death right now? And I said, that's exactly how I feel. And she said, I want you to take note. God does not say slow down. He does not say stop. He does not tell us to pitch a tent. He does not say build a house. He tells us to walk, and when you feel as if you cannot take one more step, I want you to remember me, and you walk anyway. It was an amazing moment. It transformed my life. And eventually, she had told me that if I took enough steps, one day I would look up and I would realize that I was standing in the light again. And I remember the day that I laughed and it wasn't forced or faked. It was real. And I thought, Edie was right. I've made it.